Hi, everyone. Welcome to Give Me Credit. I'm J.S. Waldo, and for those of you who don't know, let me introduce Mr. John Mackey. Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. John has spent decades inside the credit, mortgage, and lending world. He's FICO certified. He's a nationally respected credit educator and author, and he's the creator of his podcast, Incognito, where he breaks down the traps and the fine print most Americans never see coming. If you want straight truth about credit, not the sugar-coated version, John's the one you want to listen to. You should check him out at creditgenius.substack.com. Also, he's so funny. Trust me.
Oh, funny looking, but I got a face for radio. Anyway, hey JS, how are you?
I'm good. How are
Yeah,
you?
thanks for the great introduction. There are many of you that don't know about JS Waldo, so let me introduce her. She's got more than 30 years of experience as a mortgage underwriter. I consider her a genius in this respect. She Not only that, she laughs at my jokes, and that's a benefit, believe me. She brings unmatched insider knowledge, practical tips, and a no-nonsense approach to navigating today's mortgage world. And it's crazy out there, guys. If you value clarity in an industry full of fine print, check out her Substack at JS Waldo. That's JSWHALDO.substack.com.
Today, we are going to talk about a very hot topic. We are going to talk about buy now, pay later, BNPL. And we're going to jump right into this because this is a very, very intense topic. And John is, again, a guru of all credit. So here we go. Why are consumers falling for the BNPL so easily? What's the psychological hook?
Well, first of all, BNPL, I like to call it buy now, pray later. Um, BNPL doesn't feel like debt, and it's engineered not to feel like debt. So what happens is that you take, let's say, a $180 purchase into four payments. They'd be $45 a piece. Hide it behind a pastel-colored app, label it 0% interest, and suddenly debt feels painless. BNPL is basically financial nicotine. The first hit is easy. The second feels normal. And then people find themselves juggling 6, 8, 10 microloans firing off at random dates. And you can't remember. Consumers aren't irresponsible. BNPL companies design frictionless debt on purpose.
Well, who are the major players in the BNPL market?
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of them, but because they are so new, some you've probably heard of and some you haven't. Now, the big five is Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay, Sezzle, Sezzle, and Zip, which is formerly known as QuadPay. Now, the stealth BNPL lenders, that's what I call them, is PayPal, Pay in 4, Apple, Pay Later, Shop Pay Installments, and Amazon BNPL, which is powered by Affirm. Now, this isn't a payment feature. It's a parallel lending universe with zero unified rules.
Yeah, and what we're reading a lot about right now is the delinquency rates. Why is the BNPL delinquency rate so high?
JS is because it destroys financial awareness. There's no monthly payment, typically no billing cycle.
No monthly payment? You mean
No.
no monthly statement?
Statement. Did I say payment? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, there's a problem right there. 'Cause, no monthly statement, no billing cycle, no master list of what you owe, random withdrawal dates, auto pay surprises, and multiple BNPL apps that don't talk to each other, and it stays invisible until it's too late.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the big problems. So I also read about a lot of them that state attorney generals are investigating them. Why is that?
Well, because first of all, they're so new, and the business model relies on opacity. Attorneys general demand data on loan structure. They're demanding it now. Minnesota's one of them. I'm sure California is another. Um, they're demanding fees, how much they're charging, where they're getting their money from, repayment terms, data collection, credit reporting, and consumer outcomes. Now, BNPL avoids credit card regulations, avoids transparency, and avoids traditional underwriting. And that's been a huge part of the problem. The states are stepping in. Why? Because the federal rules didn't and won't, because of the disbanding of the CFPB.
Yeah, which we've been talking about a lot. And I've heard you say that BNPL is like a payday lending light. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, because it's kind of the same blueprint, but it's got friendlier branding.
Mhm.
You know, payday light, that's like short-term loans, fast fees, heavy penalties, aggressive collections, psychological targeting. BNPL is payday lending, wrapped in a pink hoodie,
So here's the thing that's always getting me. If BNPL is 0%, which is how they all market themselves,
right?
where do these companies make their money?
Boy, that's a great question, and it's probably one that very few people understand because they say 0% interest, and oh boy, I'm all for that.
Hmm. Yeah.
But BNPL doesn't need interest to profit. The money pours in from four different places.
Okay.
Number one is merchant fees, what we call a cash cow. Retailers pay 4 to 8% per transaction for the privilege of offering pay in full. Why would they? Because BNPL customers spend 20 to 40% more than credit card customers. This is all coming in from the data.
Hmm.
BNPL charges merchants more than Visa, MasterCard, and American Express combined. The
Wow.
sales booster disguised as a payment plan. Number two, late fees and gotcha charges. BNPL is interest free until you're late. Then comes late fees, failed payment fees, reschedule fees, reactivation fees, convenience fees. The business model depends on enough customers paying on time to look clean, enough missed payments to generate revenue. It's credit card economics with a friendlier marketing team. It's all about the marketing. Number three, surveillance data. And this is the gold mine. They collect what you buy, when you buy, how often you buy, spending when stressed, payday cycles, how fast you repay, whether you juggle multiple apps. This data is pure behavioral intelligence and is shared with who? Retailers, advertisers, risk modeling engines, credit model developers. It is all surveillance capitalism
No.
wearing a pastel icon.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Looked at my notes and here it is. Long-term BNPL loans do charge interest. So anything beyond pay in four, like a 6, 12, or 24-month plans, carry 9% to 36% APR. Holy schmolies. I mean,
Yeah.
36%?
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't. No, I'm not going to go there. That's subprime installment lending with better branding. So BNPL doesn't need interest to make money. It's taxes merchants, profits off your mistakes, and mines your data. And who's the biggest users of BNPL? Typically is Gen Z.
Yeah.
0% interest pitch is just the bait.
Yeah, that's actually really scary. And I've seen, as an underwriter, I've seen those longer term ones, and the amount they're paying is just crazy high. So let's
Yeah.
talk about, John, what happens if someone misses just one BNPL payment? Just one.
Yeah, it doesn't do any mercy. Um, Miss one payment and you get late fees, accelerated balances, repeated auto debits where they keep on hitting your account, overdraft fees,
Mhm.
freezing of accounts, and sometimes collectors. But here's the sneaky part. Positive BNPL history currently rarely reports to the credit bureaus. Now, if it does, the term is so short, it has very, very little effect on your score. The
Mhm.
downside is negative history can report immediately. And when a credit score is depending upon longevity and history, and if you've only got a history of 4 payments, it does very little. But that one derogatory, one late payment could destroy you.
Yeah.
So, JS, BNPL and mortgage underwriting, how does it affect it?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it actually affects it huge. It's a landmine. I mean, it's just waiting for somebody to step on it. Like you said, the majority of it doesn't show up on a credit report. Affirm was really the one that showed up first, and you would see that one. But the majority of them, they just don't. But where we see it and where we find it as an underwriter is we look at your bank statements, and we are trained to look at your bank statements just for these things. We're looking for, not just the payments, we're gonna pick up like a $45 Klarna or a $70 Afterpay, and then next thing you see there's $100 Affirm and Sezzle, and literally you do start seeing them stack up. But then here's the other thing. Normally, when you see these, you're also starting to see overdrafts, and you see random dates. It's not like just one payment a month. They're popping up, and so they stand out. What happens is then we have to get it documented. We have to go and it's first off, it stops. Everything stops. Okay, now you have to go document all this, and half the time it just destroys the debt to income, because they advertise the pay in four, but they do offer more than that, and consumers take it. Or like you said, they've missed a payment. It's invisible until you hit the mortgage process, then it becomes very visible.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so we've talked about this too, John, because it's invisible right now. But will the BNPL be included in the new FICO 10T scoring model?
They say it is. Now, until the final product comes out, we're really kind of in a quandary as to what to believe, but they say that it is. In the Vantage score model that they're using, it is.
Mm-hmm.
FICO 10T will be including it in that. So if you're going for a mortgage and they're using both FICO 10T and Vantage score, it will take into account. Um, Everything changes then.
Yeah.
Because what FICO 10T does, and we cannot overemphasize this, is that it measures behavior. In other words, it doesn't take just a snapshot of your credit report. It goes back and looks at spending patterns, short-term debt use, payday cycles, and cash flow risk. All those are being put into the FICO 10 scoring model.
Mm-hmm.
Now, BNPL fits the model like a glove. uh, companies, BNPL companies, fear reporting because they know scores will drop. That's not what they're advertising, but we
Mm-hmm.
know that they're going to drop. So you're using it as a bait to get you to participate because it's going to help develop your credit score when in fact, about half they predict scores will drop.
Yeah.
And at that point, also stacking becomes visible. In other words, when you got 3, 4, 5 in a row. Underwriting will become stricter. You'll see that in your field. Approvals will fall. This is my prediction. Because BNPL survives on invisibility. And FICO 10T is supposed to, and is developed to be a floodlight.
Yeah, I think also that approvals for even the BNPL will fall because right now they don't see each other. They're invisible from each other. We've talked a little bit about debt relief programs. Do
Yeah.
BNPL loans qualify for debt relief programs?
Rarely. Most every debt relief company that I'm aware of requires a minimum balance, and BNPL typically is for the smaller loan amounts.
Mhm.
For debt relief, typically it's 10,000. I've seen them as high as a minimum of 20,000. That they need a $20,000 minimum balance so that
Mhm.
they can make their fees. That's where their fees come from.
Yeah.
Um, why not BNPL? Well, the short term, smaller balances, inconsistent policies. But after BNPL hits third party collections, everything's going to change. So we got to worry about that. Does FDCPA apply? Validation rights apply? Is settlement still possible through that? Payment plans, are they going to be available? At that point, BNPL becomes normal unsecured debt. That's why a lot of the states' attorneys general are going after this information because these loans are not being tracked, not being followed, not being monitored.
Yeah, totally unregulated.
Yep.
John, what advice do you give people who insist on using BNPL? Like you said, Gen Z, what advice would you give them?
Use it very cautiously. It's such an easy product to use. You can get in over your head very quickly. Um, I would treat BNPL like real debt.
Yeah.
Don't stack the loans. So never use one, maybe two. I'm not even going to say two. Let's take that away. Never use more than one BNPL app.
Okay.
Every due date on a calendar. These aren't once a month payments, guys. Typically, they're once every 2 weeks. And if you're in a schedule mindset of payments are due once a month, you're automatically behind. And
Yep.
don't use it when you're stressed financially. You know,
Yeah, I've even seen ads for this on TV where they put the people in a stressful situation. The water heater just broke.
right,
Don't worry, just get a BNPL because you
right.
can't afford it right now.
Well, and what happens when these people don't have credit anyway? I mean, that's what's going to be offered to them.
Hmm.
Um, and that therein lies part of the problem is not the what I call nickel dime articles. It's not the $180 article worth 45 a month. It's the water heater that's, maybe $1,000. A furnace that may be 4 or 5,000. Those are the things you need it. You need it now. I can provide it now, but you got to do this paying 4, paying 6. That's
Right.
where the problems are going to happen.
Yeah. So as you say, it BNPL isn't budgeting, it's borrowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it looks friendly. I guess that's the bottom line. That's
Yep.
what we want you to know. BNPL looks friendly. That's the design, that's the marketing. But behind the soft branding, those pastel colors, as you say, John, are real financial consequences. Mortgage lenders see it, regulators see it, and soon credit scores will see it too.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of my old dating situation back when I was a kid. These girls look friendly, but that's not the design. But anyway, um, so you have to understand, guys, that when a financial product feels painless, it's because someone engineered it to feel painless. If you don't have the money, if you can't pay for it in a month, get pay cash for it. It's an invisible debt until it explodes. So we want you to stay aware, stay sharp, and please read the fine print.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to invite you all to read and listen to John Mackey. We appreciate you tuning in to Give Me Credit. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to ask questions in the comments. We're here. John has so much knowledge. That's why I call him the credit guru. We will answer all of them. And again, you can follow me for mortgage insights. You can check out my Substack at jswaldo.substack.com. But again, for more credit tips, for more in-depth information, financial news, and his featured podcast, Incognito, which trust me, you'll love, head over to John Mackey's Substack at creditgenius.substack.com. John, again, I want to thank you.
Thanks, guys. And, I also want to bring up the fact that a lot of the information you put out, JS, on your Substack it's incredibly intelligent stuff. And it's stuff that I've never thought about. Now, I was in the mortgage business for 10, 15 years. What you write on, what you post on is extremely valuable, even to me. Learning this, even being in the field, I learned it because you're way above me in that field.
Well, that's why we complement each other. Thank you very much, John.
Yeah.
So again, thank you again for listening. Subscribe and like, whether you're on Substack or you're on YouTube. And we will come back and see you in a week with some more great information.
We will. Adios.
Bye.